So it's about time that we've had something good happen this decade. Jake Paul has just taken his first ever loss in boxing. If you actually seen the fight, it was kind of sad because he ended up very tragically losing his hairline by the end of the fight. But, you know, obviously fair play to him. Good fighter. I genuinely thought that he was going to win. And to be fair, it was a very close fight. Most people by the end of it actually thought that it was going to be a draw, and you couldn't blame them because it really was very close. But obviously Tommy Fury ended up winning by split decision, and then he started crying like he just beat Minecraft on hardcore mode. But fair play to him as well. He went in there and proved everybody else that was doubting him, including myself, wrong. He was understandably very happy by the end of it. You can clearly see tears of joy coming down the cheeks of Tommy Fury. Whether or not he was happy because he beat Jake Paul or he gets to not stay in Saudi Arabia is debatable, but a very happy moment nonetheless. I'm proud of him, honestly. There was so much doubt around the guy. I don't think I've seen anybody predicting that Tommy Fury was going to win. There must have been a couple of people, obviously, but the public opinion was just Jake Paul is going to absolutely go through him. It is still kind of sad to see people taking credit away from Jake Paul, saying that he's, you know, a fraud and all this, when, I mean, realistically, he does have the best and most impressive record out of all the other influencers. I think it's fair to say that he's had the most difficult opponents, that of course being Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, and now Tommy Fury. I can see that it does expose him a little bit, the fact that he only loses the one time he goes against somebody that wasn't, you know, born before fire was discovered. But again, like, it was a close fight. Like, Jake actually knocked down Tommy Fury towards the end of the fight. Tommy won by split decision. It wasn't an easy fight for Tommy. One criticism that I do have for Jake is that by the end of the fight, during the post-fight interview, I'm sure you guys know about this already, he started chatting about how he was sick. He said that he injured his arm, basically making excuses.
I got sick really bad twice in this camp, injured my arm,
When before the fight, of course, he was saying that he was totally ready to go, and we didn't hear anything about any injuries or being sick. I think everybody would have respected him a lot more if he had just purely taken the loss on the chin without making a single excuse. You'd think that he would have learned that lesson from Logan, but somehow he hasn't.
I've been sick for the past 3 days. The first thing I did this morning was sneezed 3 times.
Nonetheless, it was a great fight. I think we should definitely expect to see a rematch, which might actually result in an entire trilogy, judging by how close this fight itself was. I do think it's kind of stupid, like the amount of, not criticism, because I think criticism, as long as it is constructive, I think it's okay, but just pure hate, like online, just people on Twitter just calling Jake Paul fraud and all this. I think it's the stupidest thing ever. At the end of the day, Jake Paul is just somebody who probably is inspiring an entire generation of very young people to start working out and get into boxing and all this. I think it's a general positive, this whole YouTube boxing thing. Like, arguing about who's better, like JJ or Jake Paul, I think it's the stupidest thing ever. Like, they both really, at the end of the day, stand for the same thing, proving people wrong. Like, after their fight, I don't see them being enemies at all. I don't even understand why they're enemies right now. I think it's kind of obvious that to a certain extent they're both putting it up for the camera, because this fight is going to be hugely profitable once it happens, and they don't want to kill the hype. You know, if JJ turns on the camera and he just says like, oh, I don't actually mind Jake all that much, it would just murder the hype for the fight. It's going to be the same thing with Logan. Maybe they're not going to have another drink brand or anything, but I see a friendship between Jake Paul and KSI on the horizon. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of Jake Paul. Let me know if you think he's a good, decent fighter, because I don't want to say that he's a good, listen, I'm not a boxing analyst. I literally got into boxing like because of this whole influencer boxing stuff. I had never watched it before. I really was never interested in sports to begin with, and so it just goes to show like how much of a massive audience boxing and combat sports in general have gained from this entire movement of influencer boxing. I think it's inspirational. I think it's awesome, and yeah, appreciate you guys watching. I'm trying to keep up the not necessarily daily uploads, but just consistent. Like I'm trying to do at least 3 times a week. So I think this is the second one this week. But yeah, have a good day.